How is he going to react when the hunter becomes the hunted?
It's a great question. And, well, Hikaru, he's out there. He is pouncing on his opportunities. And right now, Magnus, he has the white pieces. He needs to get this one. He plays A3 again, and you see Hikaru laugh.
Yep, A3. And the actual point of the move A3 is to discourage C7, C5, because their white could have grabbed that pawn and protected it with B4. But that ship has sailed there, once again repeating a very similar line to the first time they had this. The queen comes out to B3, and Magnus, of course, trying to provoke a weakness on the queen side.
Right, if you play the move B6, as Hikaru just did, there's some light square problems in the long term. White's pawn structure positioned very healthy. It's not like there's an advantage, but you just hope that at the right moment you take on D5 and try to use the light squares to your advantage.
I've been fine with Magnus's opening choice. I think he's just trying to aim for the positions that he feels comfortable in. But Hikaru is just so solid. He's so hard to break down in these types of symmetrical positions. Magnus trying to whip something up on the queen side. He takes on D5. And what's Hikaru going to recapture with here? Big question.
And notice how Magnus waited until the rook went to C8, because now the bishop can go to A6 with tempo. It's a shot against the rook on C8 as Magnus tries to gain control of the C file. So bishop A6, there is rook C7. Then you can even play a move like knight B8 at some point just to get that bishop out of there.
And we might see just that. You have to be careful about the move B5, locking the bishop on A6. Is there a knight B5? Rook C7, queen D5.
That is sick. The bishop on F5 is loose, as is the rook on 8. And look at Magnus. He's looking at the board from the side, and I think
he can't miss this.
He can't. He has to find the move. And knight takes D5 does the same thing, right? He plays knight B5.
It might have even been better. Knight takes D5, there might have been bishop B6. And yes, Magnus delivers. He had no right to miss that tactic. This is what he eats, not for breakfast. He eats harder tactics than this for breakfast. And a big miss by Hikaru. How lost is this, Robert? Is this just a pawn down and you're losing a second pawn and your position is collapsing? Or is there any hope for Hikaru in the ensuing position?
It looks extremely lost. You have to take on C7 now, right? I don't see another move. And after queen takes D5, loose pieces drop off. LPDO, says Daniel Naroditsky. The rook on 8 is loose. The bishop on F5, is similarly loose. And so you lose a pawn, then B5 drops, and you're going to lose this game. So the break could not have come at a better time for Magnus. And, well, he's trying to break his losing streak and finally get a series of wins.
Bishop A6 was such a devilish move, and Hikaru blunders the rook in the corner. Or does he? He's trying to trap the queen?
So bishop E4?
No, he didn't blunder that.
Okay, bishop E4 is the idea.
But what if White plays, for instance, D5 here, just to intercept the diagonal? Whoa, Hikaru, what is he doing?
I don't know. He's always looking off to the side, and of course, the chess.com staff, they're looking at his screen. They know everything's good, but I wonder if he is looking at Magnus. But either way, he is trying to trap Magnus's queen in the corner. And after bishop E4, there is that D5 move.
I'm skeptical, and yes, we have the eval bar. I will admit that's coloring my interpretation of this position. It's a creative idea by Nakamura. No, he did not blunder the rook. He saw that it could be captured. But what he might have missed is that after bishop e4 d5, there is the massive, unstoppable threat of knight e5 to c6, pinning the knight on b8 and fully extricating the queen with interest from its perch in the corner. Hikaru actually is going to go king h7 to try to free up the knight, but it's too late. Look at Magnus forcing the exchanges.
Yes, and with the lead in material and the lead in the clock, it should be Magnus Carlsen's game. And the reason why Magnus is winning this game is he timed the release of the tension well. He went c takes d5 when he had bishop a6 with tempo, and then he found the tactical shot. So this was a really good game thus far by Magnus. If he doesn't win this game, I mean, he just has nothing going his way today.
But it's not over. From a practical perspective, that bishop is still imprisoned. Now, it's not in danger of being trapped. Black can't attack it. But listen, the king on g1 is feeling the heebie-jeebies just a little bit, and maybe it's worth bringing the queen to g5. You can grab another pawn, but I think White's got enough of a material advantage already. Magnus's priority right now should be to repel the initiative. Black is kind of threatening bishop b4, maybe knight e4, knight d2. Hikaru is so good at creating complications in these types of positions, and hold on.
I mean, you are right that our judgments are being colored by the evaluation bar. It's still heavily in White's favor, but it was sky high, and now it's shrinking a little bit, and that's how Magnus Carlsen, excuse me, Hikaru Nakamura. That's how he even wins games like this. We saw him do it against Niall Sarin.
Yeah, we most certainly did. He chips away at the advantage. He forces you to solve problems. He gets you low on time. And that is my biggest concern right now. 50 seconds for Carlsen. He hasn't been up to his usual level of sharpness. Let's see if Hikaru can keep this complex.
Very complicated because the king on G1 doesn't have many defenders around there, right? Bishop E4, queen G5, things of that nature go after the white king. The bishop on A6 is imprisoned over there. It can't get back in the game very easily, and the rook and the queen are not coordinated, at least not optimally.
Hikaru making a one-move threat, and then another one. The queen can drop back to C1 for defensive purposes. If you slide the rook up in cautiously, then the knight's going to jump into E4, and the rook is suddenly trapped. So that's how easy it is to lose control of the game if you're Magnus.
Yeah, that would be terrible. And even that still should be good for white, I think, because you could take the bishop and take on F7. But why get into a situation like that? He slides his rook to E1, and somehow his rook is untouchable there. The queen can't attack.
Incredible. B4 was defended, C3 was defended. Hikaru has no choice but to drop his queen back. But he's keeping the tension. And the clocks were at a minute. Now they're both at 30 seconds, and this only favors one player.
Right. Knight E4, there's queen D4. That's the good news for Magnus. He's essentially forcing the queens off the board in short order. So queen D4 is a massive threat right now.
And I think it's going to be played, and Hikaru might be preparing queen G5. Slippery as an eel. He sacks on F3, the last attempt.
Okay, king F1. There's always queen C2 check.
Knight F5. Knight and the queen. Very strong pair, but this is obviously lost. Queen C2, I would play. He just makes a mad dash for the center.
Yeah, the king runs away, and you can get a couple pawns. He didn't take on F3.
Bishop C8.
Bishop E2.
Okay.
So you can give up all your pawns as long as you get checkmated.
Yeah, and Hikaru has only 2 of them at the moment. Bishop D3 forces the knight off the board and ends the game. Hikaru's not going to resign, though. He's going to get every possible second off the match clock.
Right, he should. There's no reason to resign if you're Hikaru Nakamura. You should waste the match clock.
And it's not, we've seen crazier things happen. I don't think Magnus is giving this game away, but with 9 seconds, hey, it's chess. And E5 is a great move.
Yes,
shattering Black's pawn cover.
Magnus could take on F6 with the queen. He could take and get E6. That was a big moment there. Because if he took on F6, Danya, at any point, Black would have 2 pawns, passers against a rook. So
then it's a 3-result game again.
This was accurate play there by Magnus. He trades the queens at the right moment. He gets a new one. And Hikaru's going to continue trying to waste a little bit more time.
And he's going to do it. It's not mate just yet. It's going to take a couple more moves. A ring around the rosy. And there it is. Mate on the next move. Well, king F2 still.
Queen E2 is mate.
Okay. And a win for Magnus.